Hello my dear students. Today in this video we will be reciting a poem from your literature reader. Before we start with the recitation, let us know a little bit about the poet. The poet of this poem, Foreign Lands, is Robert Louis Stevenson. He is a Scottish poet, novelist who loved to travel. He has written many poems, stories, fictions for children to read and entertain themselves. One of the famous poem of his is Foreign Lands. So let us start with the recitation of the poem. This poem tells us about the dreams and desires of a little boy. The poem is divided into 5 stanzas comprising 4 lines each. Such a poem is called quadrant. The first stanza of the poem is Up into the cherry tree. Who should climb but little me? I held the trunk with both my hands and looked abroad on foreign lands. Here, in this stanza, the poet climbs up on a cherry tree. And who is I? I is the poet himself. The boy climbs up a tree and holds the tree with both his hands and wishes to look the foreign lands, the unknown places which the poet has never looked before. The second stanza of the poem says, I saw the next door garden lie, adorned with flowers, before my eye, and many pleasant places more that I had never seen before. In these lines, the speaker says that after climbing up the cherry tree, he sees the garden next door, which has many flowers in bloom. The word adorned here in these lines means full of beautiful flowers. He also sees many more places which the poet had never seen before. The third stanza says, I saw the dimpling river pass and be the sky's blue looking glass. The dusty roads go up and down with people tramping into town. In these lines, the poet tries to explain that when after climbing up the tree, he sees a river which was going nearby him, and the river had dimples in it. It means that when you throw a stone in the water of the river, you can see that it starts moving, and the motion which the water experiences is known as dimpling river. The dusty roads go up and down with people tramping into town. He could also see a road on which people were traveling on foot. The fourth stanza of the poem is: If I could find a higher tree, farther and farther I should see, to where the grown-up rivers slips into the sea among the ships. Here, in these lines, the poet tries to express his desire that he wishes to find a tree which is taller than the cherry tree, so that he could look at the faraway places. The poet also wishes to see the matured river, which moves on and joins into the sea, so that the dream of sailing ships could be fulfilled by the poet. The last stanza of the poem is: To where the roads on either land lead onward into fairyland, where all the children dine at 5 and all the playthings come alive. In these lines, the poet wishes that he wants to see a fairy land, a road which leads to the fairy land. He talks about a fairy land where children could have the dinner at 5 in the evening and all the toys could come alive and talk with the poet. This shows the wild imagination of a child. In the poem Foreign Lands, the cherry tree is the little boy's passage to see wonderful places which he has never seen before. You all have a desire, a dream, and you want to fulfill it in some or the other way. So, the poet's desire was to see the unexplored places, which he could fulfill by climbing it on a cherry tree. Hope you all enjoyed the poem. Now you will recite the poem and go through the new words on page number 21.